Okay, so the question on the table is, where should I invest my money to help scale and 10x my cleaning business? So this is for those that are already have your business operating, right? You're trying to figure out like, how can I help it to grow? I'm bringing in funds, I'm bringing in income, right? But how and where should I put my money to make my business scale and 10x and grow itself, right? Good question, right? And it's so funny because I literally saw a post of a student in the academy, a student in the academy, like, make something similar to this, like, literally right before I got on this call, or on this thinking about calls and clients, but on this, recording this video for you guys, right? And he was saying that it's his second month in business. His second month in business, he made a total revenue of 8K, but he's reinvesting like the total, right? He has a very aggressive process and strategy to help grow and 10x his business. He's not really taking any of the profits. He's paying his cleaners, paying his expenses, but he's literally taking everything and putting it right back into the business, which is awesome, right? But now I was like, okay, where does it go? So I feel like there are two different avenues of where you should put your money into your business to help it to grow. Now, there's a couple different factors that you have to take into consideration before we even talk about 10xing, right? Because what are you further investing on? Like, right? You have to ask yourself these three things. Do I have the proper systems put in place? Do I have the cleaner capacity that can handle the growth of the business? Right. And like, what are my SOPs? Like, is everything structurally set up to carry the capacity that more business could bring? Right. Because if you just dump the money that's going to bring more clientele, but you don't have the proper infrastructure, then it's still going to crumble. Okay. So you want to make sure you have those things set up first properly, like your booking platform. Like, what booking system and platform are you using? Are you using a booking and system platform, or are you just using pen and paper? Okay. And nothing's wrong with that. I started with that, right? But my first investment at the time, once I was bringing in a consistent and a lot of revenue, wasn't into dumping it into more clients, because I saw the hiccups on the back end when I didn't have the proper booking system, right? My cleaners were being late because I wasn't getting the information to them on time, or I transposed the address and I'm sending them to 1212 Rainer in Plano versus 1212 Rainer in Rockwall, right? It was just chaotic. So I had to first invest in the systems and infrastructure to make sure that it was adequate enough for that, right? Now, depending on your hiring strategy, if you're planning to go the free way, where you're finding cleaners on platforms like Craigslist and Nextdoor and Facebook groups and Facebook Marketplace, then you're not going to need as much of an expensive hiring or HR budget, right? Because those platforms are essentially free. You're just really investing time in making sure that you can do that. But if you are planning to do the paid route of hiring, then it would be like Indeed, right? And I remember at the time my Indeed budget was like roughly between $700 to $800 a month at the time, before I ended up switching to doing that other route that I just discussed, right? So if you do the paid route, then of course you're going to need more cleaners, right? Because you have to make sure that your business is set up properly to handle what the growth could bring. And before you bring in more clientele, you want to make sure now you have cleaners. Now, if you're like, yo, Jazz, I have the cleaners, girl. Like, I got 25 people, they're locked, loaded, and then just ready for the go call. Cool. If you don't, make sure that you guys are focusing on hiring. Okay. Now, another part that I want to discuss and talk about infrastructure is your team, right? Do you have the capacity to handle that many incoming calls or incoming messages, or handle irate situations, right? Like, is it time for you to bring in a team, right? Maybe hire a virtual assistant that can help manage the day to day, or finding a platform that'll allow you to be able to use like a virtual AI bot, right? Something of that, so that can be able to take incoming calls and handle that phase of the business, right? There's so many different ways in how you can be able to implement that. Implement that, right? Like, we have a whole training on how to hire VAs. I mean, I did used to have a virtual assistant company. We closed that at the beginning of this year. Yeah, roughly, but in beginning of this year. So I have a lot of experience being able to source, hire, train VAs, and they're great, great tools for your business. My company would not have been able to grow without one. Okay. So you want to make sure you have those three things. Now, if you're like, yo, Jazz, I checked those boxes, like check, 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 check. Okay. Then where I would invest, I would say for you to invest those additional funds would be into your marketing, right? Like that's going to be the most expensive expense that you have with your business is going to be marketing, right? So whether you are using for your thumbtack, you're increasing your thumbtack budget, whether you are using Google LSA and you want to increase that budget, whether you only have Google LSA and you want to now implement and try Google Ads. And if you don't know how to do it, you maybe want to hire a company and a marketing company to be able to do that. Or if you want to, tap into SEO, which stands for search engine optimization, whether it's for SEO on your website or SEO on your Google LSA, on your Google profile page, like those are some different marketing channels where I would recommend putting those funds in. Okay. And again, it all depends on those funds, right? You want to do some A/B testing, see which of these lead generation platforms bring in the most profit for you. So that way you're just not dumping it into a bag with holes, right? Like if Google Ads is not doing it for you, you look at the analytics, you look at the numbers, you see the conversion rate, like you see you're getting this many clicks, but they're not turning into calls or messages or outreach, then you may want to revisit your target market. You may want to revisit all that back end setup. And like I said, if you don't know how to do it, especially with Google Ads setup is kind of similar to Facebook setup with like doing all of the A/B testing and targeting your specific audience based upon their likes, based upon things that they search, what things that they surf online, things like that, right? To where like if you don't know how to do it, then you may want to hire or partner with some sort of marketing company that can do your Google Ads, that could potentially do Facebook ads and manage those things for you. Okay. But the answer, right? If you have all the infrastructure, because if you don't, then you need to do that first, right? If you don't have the booking platform, if you don't have a team, or if you're not able to handle all of that incoming, then you're going to want to make sure you take care of that first. Now, if you're like, I check all the boxes, then you're going to invest in the marketing. Okay. Because the goal is to bring in the potential clients, right? At the end of the day, your close rate is anywhere between a low 20 to maybe 30, 40, depending on how comfortable you are with closing clients, right? And I know people will be like, close and sell. It sounds like a sales job. Because at the end of the day, it's a business, and every business, like we have to talk numbers, right? I even had a meeting with my team on yesterday, and we're going over the numbers, right? What worked, what didn't work, how many, what traffic was brought in, like all the things, right? You have to be able to analyze, right? At the end of every month, me and my team, for our done for you clients, we go over all of their numbers, right? Because we have a goal that we're trying to help them all reach. So I feel obligated to help them reach this goal. Like what are we doing? But in order for me to do that, I have to know the numbers. I have to know, okay, where is the money going in? What platforms are we investing in? Right? What is the response time looking like? All of these different things help indicate closing leads, right? Do we need to shift the money from this platform to another platform? Do we need to change up the sales script? Do we need to change up the workflow? Do we need to change up, the response time? All of these things go into like determining the numbers, right? So we go over all the numbers, make sure that everything is looking good. There's some growth that's happening here. We're not stagnant. We're not getting any calls, any leads. Because if you're not getting any calls or any leads and you have these platforms turned on, there's two things that can be wrong with it. One is you're possibly in the wrong area. You could be in an area that's not as a high demand. Okay. Or you don't have a healthy, I don't say good enough, right? Because I started with $25. Look, you guys, right? But you may not have a healthy budget. Okay. So kind of just measuring out your expectations that, if you do drop a $25 budget, then do expect maybe 1 or 2 leads. Don't come in with the expectation of having, I'm going to get 30 leads with this budget. It may not happen, but they will also give you an indicator as to how many leads you can potentially expect with this budget. So that way you'll know and have something to work up to, right? I was like the student in the academy. Now, I didn't invest it all in because mama had bills, all right? But I did take a portion of those profits and I invested it back into the business, right? So once we got a job, I would take the portion of the profit and I put it right back into the ads to where I was trying to get to a consistent $100 a week budget, to $200 a week budget, to 300, 400, to eventually it was $1,000. Then it was unlimited, right? Like let the open the floodgates, okay? Let them all roll in, no stop, all gas, no brakes, right? Like that was what I was trying to build up, but I did have to build up to it. So if you have some access to funds, right? Y'all know that tax deadline's coming, right? So if you have a check you're expecting from Uncle Sam, all right, or not, or not, and you're trying to figure out how can I invest in my business to make it grow, answer those first 3 questions, and then if you check the box for those, um, marketing, and if you didn't take care of those, the rest you have left, marketing. Okay. I hope this answered you guys' questions. If you guys have any other questions about cleaning business, how to start, launch, scale, grow, all the things, you guys make sure to drop them in the comments. Tag me because I'm going through and I'm answering all you guys' burning questions. Okay. Also, you guys, I have a new workshop that's listed inside the description. You guys check it out. I love it. It's super amazing. It's literally like we literally just posted it this week. Okay. So click the link in the description and I'll see you guys there. All right. Bye, y'all.